Hey salon world, wouldn't it be nice to have a quick and easy blow dry technique to use in the salon? And wouldn't it be nice to be able to teach your clients how to do that? Totally adds value to your service. Welcome to Shop Talk in Style. I'm Tony Santini. I've been in the industry for about 23 years, and before I went out on my own, I kind of coined myself as a cosmetology career strategist. I was working with employees, salon stylists, students, teachers. All that's over now. I'm totally on my own, and I'm here to share. If you want to know a little bit more about my background, jump on my YouTube channel. I have an about video that kind of goes through why I'm here, what I'm doing, and what I've done. So, anyways, about this blow dry. I kind of refer to it as like a bread and butter blow dry. It's one of those really kind of consistent styling techniques that I use in the salon, and the fact that it's so easy to do and share with your clients really brings this value to your service. At the end of the video, I'd like to share with you how you can take this styling technique and then build your business with it. Essentially, grow your income. One thing that I always like to think about, though, actually is three things that I like to think about when I'm thinking about building my business is what I'm doing beneficial to the client in my chair? And is what I'm doing beneficial to me as a stylist? And is what I'm doing beneficial to the salon owner, if there is one? If those three bases are covered, I know I'm good to go, and whatever I decide to do is going to work out for everybody in the end. So let's talk a little bit about this blow dry. There's a couple things that I like to, discuss before we get into the actual technique itself. And the first thing is preparing the hair. So yeah, I know, we all shampoo the hair, right? Big deal. Well, it kind of actually is a big deal. Your styling process and finishing process is going to be result-oriented in a way that's better if you think about what you do to the hair before you start blow drying it. And shampooing and conditioning is like the first thing you do, right? So make sure you choose your shampoo and conditioner according to the hair type, texture, and what's going on with your client's hair. Is it chemically processed? Is it naturally textured? Determine that first, and that comes out in the consultation, right? And then go ahead and decide your shampoo and conditioner that you're going to use. Don't forget to talk to your client about it. After you shampoo and condition, you're going to towel blot the hair. So let's talk about towel blotting for a minute. What do we do at home, right? And what do most people do at home? They grab their towel, put it on their head, and shake the hell out of it. Well, here's what's happening. You're roughing the cuticle of the hair. So before you even start the styling process or finishing process, you've already got the cuticle all wild. This is going to start adding frizz to the hair right away, and it's going to be hard to contain it and hard to keep the hair in a good place. So blot it. Just towel blot it. It's not that hard to do. It's actually so much more gentle on the hair, and it's something that you can teach your client to, especially if they have naturally curly hair, naturally textured hair. Then we're going to comb it out. Well, combing and brushing are two different things, right? So raking that comb through the hair and pulling that brush through the hair can be so damaging. And I know people at home, I've had clients tell me, I just tear through it, no big deal. Well, I don't know. I kind of care about their hair since I'm working with it, and it's my responsibility to make sure that it's in good shape. So there's a couple different ways you can do this, and we really should think about technique when we're combing or brushing the hair out, especially when it's wet. It's in a fragile condition and it's easily breakable. So if you're going to comb the hair, great. Start from the bottom and work your way up. In other words, a wide tooth comb is a great option. Lots of space in between, slips through the hair really easily, and you can take the comb and start in the bottom of the hair and begin combing the tangles out right from the bottom and work your way up. This is going to allow for the tangles to come out smoothly, and you're not going to get the comb stuck in the hair where you have to pull it. I know people are fine with pulling their hair at home. I'm not going to pull their hair in the salon. And as a quality, top-of-the-line stylists, I think that would be pretty basic. So don't do it. So if you're going to use a comb, use a wide tooth comb. If you're going to use a brush, and that's fine if you want to use a brush, understand what's going on with the bristles. So if we look at these bristles, I know this might be a little bit difficult to see. Can't really see it. But when you hold the brush up vertically like this, so it's longer than it is wide, all the bristles line up in a row. So if you're like me and you live in Wisconsin and you look at a cornfield, you know exactly what that's about. When the bristles line up in a straight line, it slips through the hair really easily. When you tip the brush to the side or hold it horizontally, your brushes become staggered and grip the hair. Yeah, this is great when you're blow drying because you can get some awesome tension on the hair and you can really hold the hair in a great position. But when you're trying to detangle the hair, not such a good idea. It will get stuck in the hair. So when you go to take the tangles out of your client's hair, comb it out, hold your brush vertically, start in the bottom, and just gently brush through that hair. And you will be able to really detangle it nicely in a way that's comfortable for your client and also keeps the integrity of the hair. Remember, hair is like a fabric. If you damage it, it's really hard to get it back. We know what we have to do to damage hair, right? And not everybody wants that to be done, so just be careful. Use your tools properly. And then we need to talk about product selection, right? So what we're going to do today is what I call my bread and butter blow dryer. It's actually a wrap dry. It's a process of taking the hair and blow drying it around the head. So I'm going to be using a paddle brush, which looks like this. And I'm going to talk about the option of finishing the ends with a round brush. Generally, though, a wrap dry is done with a paddle brush. So the paddle brush is, and it's an interesting tool. I use it quite a bit, actually. It's got a cushion, so when you press this cushion against the head, it can be a little bit more comfortable. Also, if you take your paddle brush and you brush it, you'll notice that the bristles start to move together, which grip on the hair and give you better tension when you're blow drying. There's a couple things that happen when you're styling your hair with a blow dryer. One, you're getting moisture out ready it's obvious that you're doing that. However, the two things that are really going to smooth the hair are going to be heat and tension. So the heat from your blow dryer and the tension from your brush are what's going to create the smoothness. The more tension you get out of your brush, depending upon what brush you use, the smoother and shinier the hair is going to be. A paddle brush falls kind of middle of the road. Moves fast, allows for airflow between the bristles, dries the hair quickly, has a moderate amount of tension, gets the job done nicely. You can create a little bit of bend, but it looks more smooth and sleek. So both of these lovely ladies here have been blown dry with a paddle brush in a wrap dry. This one, as you can see, has a little bit more bend to it on the ends. I used a round brush to finish off her ends. I find that a really beautiful finish has a lot to do with the shine in the hair, but also how the ends are polished. Look around. It's really not attractive when you have a nicely blown dry head of hair and then frizzy ends or flyaway ends. It detracts from the beauty of the style. So a round brush is a nice way to add that additional polish and additional bend if you'd like to. If you want to have a more sleek finish on the hair, stick with the paddle brush. It really conforms the hair to the head. It's got a lot of nice movement to it, and it stays smooth and sleek. This young lady, see if we can get her head out of this mannequin stand, has been done just with the paddle brush. So you can see it's a little bit straighter, not as much bend. She's still got nice polish. The ends are finished nicely. There's some good movement in the hair, and she's ready to go. This is a great technique to use for one of those really sleek to the head bobs. It works amazing. So I know I have two longer hair models here today, but this works amazing on short hair too. So test it out. One other thing to think about when you're wrap drying the hair, blow drying in general, is the heat is going to change the form of the hair, right? So once you get that hair warm, it's going to start to change form. Once it cools and is dry, it's going to set. So wherever you have that hair pushed when it's cooling, there's a good chance it's going to stay there and be difficult to move afterwards. Once it's dry, it's done. You're going to have to re-wet it and start that over again. So keep that in mind. You want to keep the hair moving as you're blow drying. So product selection for this one, I want to do something a little bit more smooth since both of these styles that I have here are a little bit smooth. So our next model, Erica, that I'll be demonstrating on, I'm going to use a product that's going to help keep her hair smooth. Not representing any product lines, so really what I'm looking for is a nice leave-in conditioner, something that's protein-based. You'll see Erica has chemically processed hair, so I want to use a leave-in conditioner to help protect that hair and add some strength to it. And then I want to use a smoothing product to help close the cuticle, protect the hair from heat, and create some smoothness. A primer is a great thing to use too, pre-styling product, to help the product work a little bit better, helps the water to evaporate a little bit faster, and it protects the hair from additional heat. This blow dry is a great setup for curling iron and flat ironing options too. So I'm going to grab Erica, and I'll be right back. And we're back. Here's Erica. Doing great. I know it wasn't what you expected, but this is what we have. So, I shampooed her hair and conditioned her hair with a strength-building shampoo and conditioner, focusing on her color-treated hair. I wanted to make sure that was taken care of well. And then I towel blotted her hair, and I added a leave-in conditioner, and now I'm going to add my smoothing product. So I'm going to take a few pumps of this smoothing product and work it through her hair. So one thing to do when you're working products through a client's hair is to work it through your hands and then go ahead and use your fingertips to distribute it. So what I'm doing is I'm just letting my fingertips allow the product to work into the hair, and I'm still having product in my palms. So now I can go back to my palms and I can work the rest of that product through the hair. I can continue to do that until my product is gone. And I'm going to work it through well. I want this product everywhere. The point of it is to support the style, to add some smoothness, and also to protect the hair. So we don't want to be missing anything. If there's anything left over on my hands, I'm going to add it into the ends. Of course, if this was a volumizing type style that you were looking to do, you'd want to be using a volumizing product at the root. Now that I have the product in, I'm going to be sectioning the hair into 3 different sections. What I want to be aware of is if my guest has curly hair, frizzy hair, or any type of naturally textured hair. I love using this style, but let's be honest, not one styling technique is going to work for every hair type. Let's talk about the client that this is for. This is for a client who has straight hair. This is for a client who has wavy hair that blows out easy. This is for a client who has straight hair that's frizzy that blows out easy. This is for a client who has curly hair that blows out easy. So check the texture of your client's hair. How easy does it blow dry? If it's easy to moderate, go for it. If you're getting into the difficult range with a lot of texture, it takes a lot of work to get it blown dry straight, this probably isn't going to be the best technique for you. So put this in your toolbox where it belongs and pull it out for the client that it works for. There's going to be more to come. Trust me, we're going to get into curly hair at some point. There's a lot to talk about with curly hair. But this specific blow dry is a quick and easy one, and it's something you can teach your clients. So think about the client, think about the styling technique that you're going to use. So here's how we're going to do this. Don't get complicated with this. The easier the better. And when you're teaching your client this, teach them the same thing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to section the hair at the top of the head into a horseshoe section on top. Sectioning doesn't need to be perfect. You're basically just taking the top section of the hair and pinning it up to out of the way. You see, it's not perfect. It doesn't need to be. This is exactly what you can tell your client to. Take this section and pin it up. The next section that we're going to take is going to be the sides and back. So when we talk about the sides and back, there's a center part of the hair here. Separate that. You know that bone in the back of your head that protrudes? It's called an occipital bone. At that bone is where you're going to want to divide the hair from that bone to the top of your ear. Again, this does not have to be perfect. Section one side, clip it up. Section the other side, clip it up. So what we have left that we're working with first is the nape, bottom of the hair. Teach your clients this. Or if someone's watching this that's not a stylist, listen to what I'm saying. It's not hard to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Top of the head, sides, and back. Starting with the nape. This is where we're going to start blow drying. Now, the blow dryer that I'm using has a nozzle on it. This nozzle on the end of your blow dryer is super important. So many people just toss it in the garbage. Don't throw it away. It actually helps to concentrate the airflow into one small area, which gives a better polish and shine on the hair. Helps to control the hair. The other thing we're going to want to focus on is the direction of the airflow. Many people, to get volume in their hair, tip their head upside down and blow dry into it. Well, here's what's happening. On the outside of your hair is a cuticle layer. When you blow dry toward your scalp into your hair, it blows that cuticle open and it automatically creates frizz, which is why you get such great volume, because it blows the hair all over the place. If you want a smooth polish on the hair and a smooth, shiny finish, you need to make sure that your airflow is going away from the scalp. That doesn't mean it needs to go down. You can create volume and move the hair up. You just need to make the airflow go away from the scalp. This closes the cuticle on the hair and creates a sheen and shine to the hair. So, to start this out, I'm going to use my hands and my blow dryer to get moisture out of the hair and start smoothing the hair. You'll see that as I'm blow drying, I'm raking my fingers through the hair and I'm following real close with my blow dryer. At home, you can do this by grabbing your hair and following your hand with your blow dryer to get the moisture out. You could do this on both sides until it's, depending upon the hair texture, anywhere from 60 to 80% dry. Leave it more damp if it tends to be frizzy or curly. Here we go. Now, Erica was hanging out with wet hair for a little bit, so she dried a little bit on her own. Your clients are going to probably take a little bit longer than this, or your hair might take a little bit longer than this coming out of the shower. So just continue to dry it with your hands and blow dry it until it's 60 to 80% dry. You might be asking, why did I section up this hair before I started blow drying with my hands? Well, one of the big reasons is if you blow dry the bunch of the hair and then pin it up, you've already started to dry it, and it could potentially start to set with the clips, which means there could be dents you're going to have to get rid of later. The other reason is, if your hair is frizzy or curly, and you blow dry moisture out of it, it's going to be much more difficult to get that hair smooth afterwards versus doing it section by section. So I can go right from taking some moisture out, directly into using my brush, which gives me the heads up and hand up, if you will, on keeping the hair smooth. So now that I've got the moisture out, I'm going to go with my paddle brush, and I'm going to start in the center of the head, and I'm going to blow dry and brush the hair at the same time. So I'm taking my blow dryer and my brush, and we're going to blow dry all the hair in one direction until it's dry, and then we're going to come back and we're going to blow dry the hair in the other direction until it's dry. If you're at home and you're doing this on your own head, you're going to have your hands behind your head. I'm going to attempt to demonstrate this for you. Brush, blow dryer, move all the way to one side, come back, change hands, and go in the other direction. That may sound complicated, but the thing is you're not trying to go in and grab hair, you're simply brushing and blow drying. Let's do it. Okay, you'll notice that at the end, I took the paddle brush, put it underneath my hair, and then blew dry on top of it. This helps to polish the ends of the hair. Remember we talked in the beginning of the video about having frizzy ends, and it kind of ruins the polish of the style? This is how you're going to prevent doing that. So you can run the brush through, and then I held it just for a second to let it cool a bit and set. Remember, after you heat the hair, you're changing the formation of it. When you cool it, you're setting it into a new formation. At home, if you're doing this, what you can do is you can tip your head to the side, put the brush underneath your hair, grab the hair, and then bring your blow dryer down on top of it. So it would look something like this. Brush would be in, hair, blow dryer down on top of it. You could even switch hands if it's more comfortable. Sometimes this is a little bit easier. And then when you went to the other side, you can do the same thing. Brush under the hair, head to the side, blow dryer on top of the brush, follow the brush down. Let's move on to the next section. So I'm going to take down the sides and back of the hair. We're basically going to do the same thing. I'm going to start in the center of the back of the head and work all the hair over in one direction until I get to the front of the head. Once one side is dry, I'm going to go back to the center of the head and work all the hair in the other direction until I get to the front of the other side of the hair. Then I'm going to go through, put my brush underneath the hair, follow the brush down with my blow dryer, and finish the ends. At home, again, if you are doing this, you can tip your head to the side, put your brush underneath your hair, your blow dryer on top of the hair and the brush, and follow it down to the ends. Okay, let's do it. round brush to just polish the ends. It gives it a little bit more shine, a little bit of bend, but it's still a pretty sleek blow dry. If you notice, when I was using my paddle brush, I was holding it horizontally, right? And sometimes vertically. So when it was more damp, I held it horizontally because I was moving the hair horizontally. Remember, the bristles line up in this direction, so whatever way you push the hair, and if you keep the bristles lined up in the same direction, it'll slip through the hair easier. Once the hair started to dry a little bit more, I turned the brush so that it had more grip. This way I could hold the hair better, more tension on the hair. It smooths the hair better. So that was why I switched that up a little bit. All right, let's talk about the top. Top's a little bit different to do. I'm going to take this clip out, and I'm going to go ahead and do some blow drying with my hands first. I don't want this to be flat though, so I'm going to lift the hair with my hands and blow dry from the root out. This will help give some volume right away. It'll help build that in to the style. After I do that and get the hair mostly dry, remember 60 to 80% depending upon the texture. More texture, less dry. Less texture, more dry. I'm going to go in and blow dry with the paddle brush, and I'm going to take all the hair from one side of the head and blow dry it to the other side. Then after I do that, I'm going to come to the other side of the head, and I'm going to blow dry all the hair back and around in the other direction. So we're basically blow drying the hair back and forth across the head. This is going to allow to give the root area some flexibility. The direction of the hair is going to stem from which way that root is moving. So if we can give the root some movement, the hair will have more movement. Once I get the hair almost all the way dry, I'm going to take a final sweep back right where I want the part. And Erica wears her part on the right hand side, so I'm going to blow dry once right through that and have the hair separate before I finish off the ends. If you're at home, you're going to be doing the same thing. Instead of working over the top of someone else's head, you'll be working over the top of your head and do that final blow through where you want your part. Cool? Let's do it. Smooth. I decided to continue on with the round brush, polishing the ends, and it was a good call. She's had a lot of color done to her hair, and it was a little bit crunchy on the ends. I think we all know what that means. So, solid blow dry really helps to make the hair smooth. Ooh, she looks good. Girl, you're going out. Alright, let's recap real quick. Alright, so here's the 8 steps. Let's hit them one more time. The first one is preparing the hair, right? Shampoo and conditioner, towel blotting, combing versus brushing, product selection, and tool selection. Get all that stuff set. Make sure it's good to go, and you're ready to go through that with your client. Section out the hair, and you can teach your client this as well. Remember the nape, sides and back, and then top. Tool position. Super important, right? Which way you hold the paddle brush. If it's in the direction of the hair, if the bristles line up with the hair, it's going to go through smoothly. If they're contrasting the position of the hair, it's going to be a little bit more tension on the hair. Start in the nape, work to the back and sides. Number 6, go to the top. 7, any finishing touches. So I always like to give it a nice comb through afterwards, just to make sure the hair is smooth. And then if you're going to use any finishing product in our 8th step, that's what it would be. So what I would do now is either grab a spray or some kind of shine or something, depending upon what type of texture the hair is. I think a spray would be nice. We've seen a lot of like matte stuff lately, so using a dry finishing spray will be a nice option right now instead of over creating too much shine. And then you can always use your hands to just position that hair nicely, so when you turn your client around, they can see the final result well. Cool? Awesome. Well, I did promise you to talk about a business building technique with this, and here it goes. So, first thing, teaching your client this is creating value. More value to what you're already doing. They're paying for their service. That's what they came for. Now you're giving them something that they get to keep forever. Forever. It's invaluable. Teach them how to do this. The second thing that's going to be hugely important is this is your chance to retail, man. Talk about your products. The only way you're going to get this to happen is so that they know what you're using in their hair. It's not going to work if they're using something else at home. So talk about that. If you're a commissioned stylist, this is a great way to bring some added benefit to your paycheck at the end of the week, end of the month, or whenever you get paid. Also, if you're not a commissioned stylist, it's really important that we're teaching our clients what to do with their hair and the products that they need to be using. So here's another one too. You just shown your client that you can do a nice blow dry, right? Maybe this isn't a service that they've ever thought of before. It could stand alone. This is a great setup for a curling iron style, for a flat iron style. Really basic blow dry. Super nice. And it sets them up for a style at home too. Plus, I feel like my clients are coming in and spending this money with me for their service, right? Like, I feel like I should make it look as good as I possibly can before they leave the salon. Like, they're going out there as advertising on what I'm doing. This is a referral right here. So think about this, right? It's added value. It's your chance to sell retail. It's potentially another service to offer. And it also could be referral based. Even if they're going to the grocery store. You know you've had a client come in and talk to you about how they talked to someone else, said, hey, who does your hair? Because they were trying to figure out where to get their hair done. That's it. You need to be part of that situation. So, that's the bread and butter blow dry. If you have any questions about this, again, throw them in the comments, shoot me an email, Anthony Santini, Anthony@hybridsalon.com. It's about building community, so share your ideas. If you have a great blow drying technique or tip, please put it in the comments. Super great for people to be able to see that. If I can, I'll address it in another video. So refer them to the styling video. This is great. Get to my channel, subscribe. Make sure you're ready for what's coming next. I promise you there's going to be more. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see you again.